Hello and welcome, heroes. This is episode number 23 of the Nexus podcast. I'm your host, Adam Eastwood. And this week we have our regular co-hosts along with us for the ride. We have our lore-loving, time-altering gamer, David Troy.
Hi, everybody. It's a new Hearthstone season. Turn, turn, turn. It's start of a new hero season. Turn, turn, turn. And it's still cold here, and I would really like spring season. Turn, turn, turn.
We have the lifestyle geek, prime time Joshua Williams.
That is me, and you guys are lucky I love you because Spider-Man 2 came out today, and I really wanted to go see it. Only showing started at 7:45. And it's like 2 hours and 15 minutes long, so I would have missed it if I missed this if I would have wanted and seen it. So I'm a huge Spider-Man fan.
I got one on you, Josh, because I saw Spider-Man 2 like 7 years ago.
Oh, ha, ha, ha. The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
And Blizzard eSport enthusiast, our spectator mode host, Ben Blazek.
Hey everyone, it's good to be back. The only thing I can really say tonight is it's really good to be back from a long work trip and finally get to enjoy like a couple days off.
Mm-hmm. You finally don't have to be at the secret base.
Yeah, finally back from that. It was a lot of long hour days and providing a lot of support to, I think it was somewhere in the ballpark of like 340 full bird colonels, lieutenant colonels, majors, and a few captains. So it was a lot.
It sounds like a lot. I wouldn't want to do that. So, David, what have you been up to in terms of gaming? Heroes of Storm, Hearthstone.
Well, like I touched on, it's a new Hearthstone season. So I got up to about rank 14 in the last one. I hadn't really been pushing it much because I really wanted to level up in heroes. But I kind of jumped in a little hardcore for the last few days. So I've been working on that a little bit. And definitely still pounding away at heroes. I've been kind of, whoring myself out for XP, basically. So I haven't been playing any one particular hero. But I'm up to level 19 in heroes, so working on that. But it has given me an opportunity to play a bunch of heroes that I haven't played before, which was good. Whereas before I was just kind of concentrating on the few that I really enjoyed. And also have been playing a little bit of Fire Spec Mage in World of Warcraft. So we've been doing some raiding. First time I've ever been playing Fire. It's very interesting, very fun. A lot more buttons than I'm used to with Arcane. But, I'm slowly getting the hang of it.
Josh, what have you been up to?
Take a guess. What do you think I've been doing? I've been doing it since like the past 3 weeks since we've been recording.
Anything fun going on in game that you've been up to, or anything new that you've realized?
I'm slowly getting better at Hearthstone, except for when the season resetted, and now like all the good players are back at my spot. So I'm facing them and losing basically every match. So I'm waiting till that dies down, but I played a lot more heroes the past week. I got to today I hit 16, finished a quest as soon as I hit it the next match, and it took me almost all the way to level 17 in just one match. But that's what I've been playing, just Hearthstone and Heroes of the Storms. That's the only thing I care about right now.
Mm-hmm. And Ben, what about you? What have you been doing?
What is gaming anymore? Aside from just a lot of work, I actually haven't done too much gaming. Even though I had my gaming laptop with me on location, had a 4G hotspot, I really didn't do too much. Tried to catch some Heroes games here and there while I'm in spectator mode, but not a ton. I got into the Transformers Universe closed beta, so I started to test it out last night, but couldn't play. Servers are horrible, and it's a web-based browser game, so there's a lot of trouble with it. But other than that, I really haven't done much.
It's funny. Originally, I was like, I want to try it, and I didn't realize it was going to be a web-based browser game. And now that you say that, I'm like, I'm less interested than I was before.
It looks good for a browser game. I'll say that when you actually are able to load in and get past the problems, it looks good, but it just doesn't feel as great as it could be. If I really think they need to move to a standalone client, but I don't think it's going to happen. But I really have yet to see what the combat's like, because every time I try to queue up for like a 4v4 match, no one else is queuing up. So I'll have to wait and see what happens.
Oh, for sure. I mean, for me, Hearthstone has been kind of my secondary game. I think that a lot of us are feeling that, especially at this point in the WoW development cycle. I did get my Pandemonium card back, which I was very excited to get. I'm looking forward to Season 2 and what I think was a Black Temple. I only round up at like level 18, or rank 18, so David, you definitely got me beat. I did post that. I'm picking on my wife a little bit here, but she went in and was playing in rank mode, and she thought she got up to level 18 from 14. So she's like, she was all excited that she got from 14 to 18.
Oh, well, that's good. Excellent. Perhaps next time she'll play up to par.
Yes. But in Heroes of Storm, actually, I know for the last couple weeks, I think we've been really picking on Arthas and Tyrael. And I had to get them done for some quests, so I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to buckle down and play them. And all of a sudden, I like Tyrael and Arthas both. In fact, when it comes to warriors, Diablo used to be my favorite, and now he's down to like number 3 or 4. Because I've decided I don't really like his mechanic once you get up to the 100 souls and you lose them, because you come back so much weaker with the build that I do. While it almost feels like, yeah, it's a negative to die, but it almost feels like a huge negative, because you almost have a useless talent you took out level 1 if you take the talent where your health and health regeneration are increased based on your number of souls that you've absorbed. So I wonder if there's something they could do to kind of even that out, or maybe that talent I need to just stop taking.
So is it a case that just Diablo sucks more, or that Arthas is better?
I think it's because I learned to play Arthas and Tyrael, and with Diablo, if you don't die, he stays strong. You know, because for those of you who haven't either seen him played or don't know how he's played, is as you're killing people, you gain souls. Well, the talent that I like to take is as you have more souls, you're more tankier, you more health regeneration. But his other ability is that if you have 100 souls, you lose 100 souls, and you almost insta come back from the dead. Like, you don't have to wait for the long respawn time. So it's nice to be able to get back in real quick, but then you have, say, 100 less health and 100 less health per second than before. So now you can get into the same battle you might have done earlier in the game, but not be able to win it. So I think the gameplay is a little weird. I think maybe if they gave you the option to respawn almost instantly, then it would be worth it, because then you actually have an interesting choice there. It's like, do I want to be more powerful when I come back, or do I want to come back right away? You know, early game, I'd much rather wait out the respawn time, where late game it's like, man, I gotta get back out there and start beating people up and help my team.
I see. I like that.
So, Josh, I know you've been playing a lot of Tyrael. Well, I know we were all kind of on the same boat, where we felt like he didn't have a defined role. Do you feel like it's like a choice of talents that kind of made him more playable for you?
Yeah, I'm still figuring out like a good build with him. But picking the more talents I'm getting into, he seems to be a lot more better at. To me, I feel like he can dish out the damage more, and take some with the build I've been messing with. So to me, his talent system you really need to mess with it to figure out what works good for him.
One talent that I would, I should really have these talents listed in the names and the levels, but I don't know, we've done too much in-depth talk about talents yet, so we might go into it in the future. But there's a talent that when you're connected to one of your allies to absorb damage, it makes that connection deal damage. And I find that's almost a necessary talent, because it really works well when you and your ally are on one side. You pop them with the protection spell, then you actually use your ability to throw your sword and teleport to get on the other side of the enemy, and then you're able to deal so much more damage that way. And I feel like it does a lot of damage in comparison to what I thought it did. I thought it was only going to be a low damage spell, but it's actually significant, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I pick that every time.
Yep. I almost feel like that's a necessary talent for like a DPS build for him. And then I think I go like health and survivability other than that, and it's been pretty successful lately. David, any new heroes you've tried out? I know you said you tried out a bunch of them. Is there one that's kind of stuck in your head that you like more than you might have before?
That's a very good question. I guess the answer is no, because I can't think of anything at the moment. I'm trying to go through Nova. I've played around a little bit with. I was kind of, I guess, the last person in the whole alpha to try Nova because I know she's a favorite with so many people. And it's okay. I'm not a big fan of the rogue type of player, and she's kind of like a ranged rogue, really, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not really my gameplay per se. Actually, there is one. Sorry, Kerrigan. I've been big into Kerrigan, bought her and everything. I think that's been in the last week that's happened, and totally digging her. She's cool, and actually I've been playing her quite a bit as my assassin. She's kind of my assassin of choice at the moment. Mm-hmm. I think what it is again, it's all. Every time I play something, I want you to come to me. Like I like any type of ability where like I'm hooking. That's why I like Stitches. I like Kerrigan. I don't want to have to like the Diablo's mechanic where you charge into them. I want to pull you into me, and then that's my comfort zone. That's my happy place.
Well, Diablo not only charges into him, but then he kicks him away, which almost seems ridiculous to me sometimes. I'm like, why am I kicking you away if I'm spending all this energy just to get to you?
I had people yell at me so much during one of the first games I played with Diablo in Blackheart's Bay because I kept like charging, thinking I was doing this great help to the team, and like I had people just trashing me. It's like this Diablo keeps knocking me away. I'm like, finally, like the fifth time I realized that these people weren't just jerks, although they were, but like I was actually screwing up. So I was like, that's it, I'm done with Diablo.
Mm-hmm. Got to do that tower punt, man.
Yeah, the tower punt. You know what works really well as Diablo is you kind of really play defensively, so you stay near your tower, and then they get just a close enough that you can grab them with the overhead smash. And you just smash them behind you, and then you punt them behind your tower, and then you just like sit there and wave and dance as they get killed by your tower and they can't get out.
Exactly. That's like the flex move, right?
Yes, it's like a mix between the two. 1 second. Ben, what have you been up to?
Nothing other than.
I mean, not. I guess not what you're up to. What have you noticed any other heroes that are newer or that might have, kind of caught your eye a little more?
Not really as much. It's nice to see people playing Tyrael and Arthas more. Aside from, you were talking about how you like them more now. More people are starting to play them than before, which is really nice. It's good to see kind of more of a variation instead of people just kind of jumping off the ship. Other than that, still seeing a ton of Brightwing, and not as much Lili as I thought I was going to. You still see her from time to time, but you don't see her nowhere near as much. So.
Yeah. I need to take a quick pause. Dave, do you mind kind of taking control for just a moment, kind of talk about the news a little bit?
Sure, absolutely. Well, this week they did announce that it's Lili week, and they put out a little trailer for Lili. Have you guys gotten a chance to take a look at her? Or the trailer, rather?
Not the trailer yet, but I've just been watching a bunch of gameplay on her.
Yeah, how do you find it? How do you find watching Lili? Because it is a different perspective. Like, part of the game is supposed to be esports and entertaining. So,
from a spectator's point of view, since I'm not playing right now, I don't want to sound like really negative about it, but I'm not as impressed as I thought I was going to be. Again, her kit is kind of interesting, and her kit is more geared towards the lesser experienced players or newer people coming into support roles, trying to make it easier for people to learn because it's a lot of smart casting. Because it's smart casting, it doesn't seem as exciting to watch. Now, of course, playing her could be an entirely different scenario, but from a spectator's point of view, I'm just not overly entertained. I did watch one video where Twitch streamer Nightingale, she was playing Lili, and she had a full 5 team. And one of the guys on her team was the strat caller, almost kind of like a Counter-Strike strat caller. He was calling everything, focus targets, secondaries, tertiaries, what to do in these situations, blah, 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 and this is what we're going to do after. That was fun to watch because she was so heavily working with the other teammates and talking and communicating. But
Mm-hmm.
from a standard spectator point of view, if it's just a regular Twitch streamer who's not being competitive, it's not that entertaining to watch, in my opinion. But that's just me.
Okay. Josh, have you gotten a chance to play with Lily?
Yeah, I play her a lot. I played her during our matches last week. I love her. I mean, she is easy to play. You don't really have to think too much when you play using her. But I really enjoy her playstyle. It's a lot of fun. Adding that little serpent onto your teammates that can do damage, and if you put the talent point in the right spot, it can heal at the same time. So it can you can put it on yourself, even heal yourself while you're running away, since you have that little speed boost. But it also shoots at the enemies chasing you. But I really like Lily a lot.
Yeah, I like that. The little dragon thing's kind of cool. It's like having like a mini Abathur following you around a little bit in a way. I haven't really had a chance to play her. I think I probably will next time she comes around in the rotation, just because the only support I'm really playing at all is Tassadar, and he's kind of like a different type of support anyway. He's not really a healer. He's more just a shielder. So I think I probably will give her a chance next time around. I think their trailers are great. I thought, again, it captured the flavor of the character really, really well. In terms of the whole idea of just being like enthusiastic. It's got that kind of idea of like, I'm a 10-year-old that's going around and exploring the world, and I can also do awesome kung fu, and who wouldn't want to be able to do all that stuff when they're 10?
Yeah, and for sure we're going to go more in depth on her kind of abilities and stuff in a little bit, because she is our hero spotlight this week. So I think we'll kind of kick off and kind of go into the patch notes. There were actually a decent amount, not as much as when we had the wipe, but enough to actually kind of talk about and see what you guys think about it, because I know, David, there was one specific thing on the patch notes that you were up in arms about.
Oh man, that was my Sanford and Son, Wheezy, I'm coming for you moment kind of thing.
So
I was really I was in a tough spot there for a while, but I'll tell you a little bit how I got out of it once we hit that.
Yeah, because we'll be there in just a moment. So I think one of the bigger things is that custom games have been disabled. So, Ben, what do you think of that?
I don't like it because, like how you guys did that show match last week for Totscast, like, that's cool. Doing stuff like that is fun, and that's what we're supposed to be promoting. They disabled it, and they didn't give a very specific reason as to why they did it. They posted on the forums like, we're going to focus more of our attention into the matchmaking and improving the matchmaking and so on. But it doesn't really explain much about it, okay? It's a custom game, so it's not meant to have any type of matchmaking build to it, so you don't really have a negative drawback to leaving it up and operating. As long as it was functioning when you first released it and people were able to build custom games and go in together without problems, that's fine. But I guess I don't see really why they needed to disable it, because it's exactly what people would be doing. It's just going into custom games, not really for serious, unless they just didn't want people to start doing tournaments. As they posted, they didn't want people to do tournaments with prizes. That's really the only reason I can see why they would disable it. I personally think they shouldn't have. I think it should stay in, but it will be back. So, that is the upside to it.
Part of me wonders if they saw just so many people going into custom games that they weren't getting enough data as they would like in matchmaking. I'd find it hard that many custom games would be happening, but it's definitely a possibility. I mean, we had so much fun last week after the show playing against the Hotscast crew that, I was like, oh, we definitely need to figure out people to play this week. And then I saw that and I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of out the window. And was it last Sunday, someone actually put together a tournament, and I'm wondering if they just really didn't want people to do it, and they were trying to be nice by saying, we'd prefer if you did it without prizes, and then when people did it, they were like, well, guess what? We're just going to take it away from everybody.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why they did it. They saw us in that custom game last week with Lido and Triumphy, and they said, whoa, this game's broken. Like, we need to give a little bit more time to let everybody catch up to the Nexus podcast in order to play this game, because we were so awesome. I think, to be honest, I do think it's got to do with the queuing to throw more people in the pool. when you go into, even though, I mean, I think they've opened it up a little bit in alpha, but you still see just around the same amount. At peak times, it's around the 2 to 3,000 amount, I think, in the alpha. So I think they are still keeping it open so people aren't waiting in queue quite a bit. Because maybe that was a knee-jerk reaction because for the first week everyone's in custom games, and that's probably also because everyone was testing it out, right? Maybe it would have tailed off, but I mean, to me, we were so early in alpha right now, and maybe they just don't like how they've got the custom game set up. Maybe they want something cooler and better. It doesn't. I'm still having enough fun queuing at this point that I'm not really all that broken up about it, I guess.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, with since they've kind of taken away the custom games, I've noticed that there is a significant lower queue time. Like over the last 3 days, I've maybe waited 20 to 30 seconds for all my versus matches. I don't know if you guys have had the same luck maybe that I've had in getting matches like 20, 30 seconds in, even if I picked a specific hero to play. I mean, Josh, have you had any luck with that, or do you think that your queue times have been the same?
I think it helped them because people aren't going into custom games and having that stuff. Yeah, it might be only, maybe 100 or so people going into custom games, but with only like 2,000 people in it, that adds up fast. But to me, I personally don't really care that they took it out. I mean, we tested it last week. It's still the alpha, so it's not like it's a full game out. So I mean, if it was, a game like StarCraft 2 that's it's already out, been out, and they decided, we're going to take away custom games, then I would be upset because it's a final product. As for this game, it's not even beta, it's alpha. So to me, them taking it out just shows that they're working on stuff. And I think the queue times might have something to do with it. I also think maybe they're not ready for people to have tournaments yet, and they don't want that to go on, and they know they can't stop it if they have custom maps in there. So I think that's another factor that plays into it, that they don't want people having these tournaments yet until they have spectator mode, until Blizzard feels like the game might be balanced and ready to have tournaments for this game.
I definitely see from the tournament perspective, and I agree with you guys on that one. I guess I'm just that guy that's, I'm so much of like a spectator and drawn into esports. I like watching groups just like smack talk and then throw down, and then just like, who's the best? Let's settle it right here, right now. Best of 5, best of 7, do whatever we got to do, and let's just settle it.
So for you, Ben, this is kind of like college football right now. Like there's no real playoffs for you.
I guess you could make that comparison.